My BF, 21M, of 1 year just told me, 23F, why he has a bad relationship with his sister, 18F. I am 23F, and my boyfriend is 21M. I met his family about a month into our relationship. We dated previously a couple of months, mainly talking and getting to know each other, and his sister was 18, completely ignored me other than saying hi. Ever since going to his house, I don't go often since he lives quite far away. His sister never talks to me and rarely speaks to my BF, and when she does she's very rude and condescending. My boyfriend told me that it's always been like that, they've always had a estranged relationship since they were children and that they dislike each other mutually. When I am there they get into mini fights and it's uncomfortable. Today my boyfriend got in a big fight with her and told me about over text. I told him that he should sit down and talk about it with her, because I believe that they could have a better relationship. I have a brother the same age and we love each other. Yes, we get into fights and discussions, but I think that's pretty normal in every brother-sister relationship. My boyfriend tells me there is no way to talk to her and he has anger issues himself, so that makes it even harder. I still recommend he try. Later he calls me and tells me that the reason she acts this way with him is because, when he was 11 and his sister 7-8 he touched her boobs on several occasions. I was so taken aback and didn't know what to feel, as I have also had my own experiences with being groped. He said that he had also been sexually abused when he was 5'8" by an uncle. He didn't go into detail. I know that it's also hard that he went through the same or worse, but I don't know how to feel about him having done that to his sister. Their parents never taught them about these types of things. From my understanding they were not very loving while they grew up and don't know about this situation that occurred to them. I can't justify what he did, but I don't know how to feel about it either since they were both so young, and I know that he doesn't have a track of doing this because I know his exes and female friends. Should I forgive him and continue being with him? Edit. He does repent his actions. He said he wanted to become a better person after that occurred, and from then on has always strived to be kind and caring to his sister, like always taking her to school and where she needs to go. I know that he is a kind soul. He cares a lot for his family and his close friends and is always working hard towards his own goals. Edit. Thank you all for the comments and for helping me broaden my perspective on the situation. He talked with his family and asked for forgiveness to his sister. He told me that she does forgive him. He asked me to forgive him. That's why I also asked the question, but I see now that he just needs love and empathy and support for this situation. We talked afterwards and I told him that he was also a victim, and that I know he isn't a bad person. He is going to start therapy to talk about all this and about his own emotional problems. The anger issues are when he gets really frustrated and raises his voice and becomes snappy and doesn't want to be bothered by anyone. It's not that bad I think, but it really affects his personal relationships. He also said that his family was going to look into a family therapist. I told him that I will support him. Last note. I will be deleting soon. I didn't think this was going to get so many views. Thank you all once again, you all helped me in guiding me in what I should do. They were both victims. He needs therapy. His sister does not owe him forgiveness. Please avoid comparing other people's relationships to your own. You do not know what is going on, i.e. this is one of those examples that you shouldn't do that. They need to go to therapy. You are not the one who needs to be forgiving him. Also, not all people can't forgive their abusers. If his sister doesn't want to be associated with him, let her be. It is not your choice nor your business to make or be in. Your boyfriend needs to also accept that. This is about the moon level of above Reddit's pay grade. He needs therapy and to eventually explain, apologize to his sister, and she needs therapy too. Welcome to being an adult. Everyone is traumatized and fucked up. It's just no one told you yet. If you don't want to find out more, don't do psychedelics with anyone ever. They were both children. As another comment stated, she has no obligation to forgive him, but as for you who was not the victim, I'm not sure it makes much sense to hold it against him. And there isn't much reason to believe that that behavior is indicative of future behavior. I may be alone here, but I think he did more than grab her boobs, or he didn't stop grabbing her boobs. 10 years is a long time to be upset over grabbing boobs, no. I don't think she should get over it, because her anger is so intense. It feels like it's more than a boob grab that happened once. My, M, 38, wife, F, 37, is separating our family just because of religion. My wife is living in the Philippines right now and I am here in the USA. She is in the process of immigration, but is on hold because a ridiculous reason that involves her own religious beliefs. We have a newborn daughter and she is living in the Philippines as well. My wife says that she doesn't want to come here to the USA all because I am not a part of her religion. In other words, she is forcing me to be a part of religion so that she would continue her immigration process and then arrive here to the USA. The ridiculousness made me very angry that I married a woman who cares more about her religion than her husband. I don't want to be forced into some religion just so that she can fly over here. Apparently, she needs approval from her religious administration to fly over here, but I have to become a member of their church first. Also, she doesn't want to leave Philippines because if she does, then her parents will lose their career because they work in that particular church. If the parent lose their career, they will have no house, no vehicle and they can't just afford a place easily. They would have to work, but they are already 70+ years old. I told her that I would be willing to help her parents in finding a cheap place to stay and that I can send money to pay it off with no problem. Overall, it led to an argument through the phone and she said clearly, "I would rather choose to stay in my religion than to stay there with you." I tried and tried to make sense to her that I am her husband, the one she chose to marry, the one she said so many times, "I love you no matter what happens." Yet, here it is. Religion separating us both. Nothing at this point can change her after months of trying to convince her. I am thinking of divorcing. Who would have a better chance of child custody? Our newborn daughter is an USA citizen and her papers are already processed. However, she is still there with my wife in the Philippines. I am deeply depressed right now that my life is like this all because of her religious beliefs. And, honestly, it is making me tear up as I am typing this post. I love my daughter and I want her to grow up with her mom and dad together. Not separated. I love my wife and daughter that I would always send money to them from every paycheck that I received. The amount has already amassed to more than $4,000. I did this because I want my daughter to be healthy, well-fed and cared for. But the fact that her mom is separating the family because of religion is heartbreaking and depressing. I want to add that those who say, "Why not just pretend to join their church?" It's not that easy. They have a very long and strict process in becoming a member of their religion. They want you to worship in their church 3 times a week for 2 years, attend their Bible studies every single day, which is impossible for me because of work, give a lot of money for their offerings and they want to have your private information, birth certificate, social security number, government ID, certificate of marriage, phone number, email, etc. Why'd you guys have a kid before working this out? Seems very cruel to do this to a kid. I would start the divorce process. If your kid is an American citizen, she can visit you when she is older and immigrate when she wants to. But don't get into a religion you don't like just because you are forced to. She has leverage over you and thinks you wouldn't leave her because of it. Show her that you do and can. She doesn't love you if she forces you to do something you don't believe it. She probably gets custody of the kid, but if you pay less to her, she surely understands that you are not playing. If you have enough money to spend, put up an account in the US and give your kid the details when she is old enough. Sounds like the kid has dual citizenship, and that you probably need to get her to court if you want visitation to get sorted out. My nephew's mom has had to fight such battles before, and the whole international aspect to this will make it a nightmare. She's not choosing you, and ultimately it's because she doesn't want to. Don't go jumping through hoops. Get a divorce and talk to a lawyer. What church is that? Philippines is primarily Catholic, 87%. The Catholic Church doesn't require you to be a congregant to marry a Catholic. It's preferred but not required. Sounds super fishy to me. I'm a card-carrying Catholic, my wife isn't, we are still married and have kids. Church doesn't really care. Cult says what? He, 42M, told me he's in love with me after 3 dates and it makes me, 35F, cringe. So I met this guy on a dating app about a week ago. The conversation went great from the start. He's super interesting, funny and really charming. We had a lot in common and the conversation just flowed seamlessly. He's a psychiatrist with a lot of hobbies, a parent. I really felt understood by him because I'm a single mom, and appeared super non-judgmental but a bit too enthusiastic for my liking. So we agreed on a date the next day. We went out for dinner and then drinks until like 3 a.m. and I had so much fun with him. We shared lots of laughs and stories and jokes. However, I wasn't really physically attracted to him. I don't know. I just didn't feel a spark, like his personality was great but something felt off in the attraction department. I thought okay, maybe it's a me problem. He brought me home and we hugged goodbye, no kissing, and he seemed super into me. He asked me to see me again as soon as possible. I agreed because I wanted to explore our connection and thought maybe the attraction would grow over time. We then had 2 more dates. He was super nice in both of them. He cooked me a really fancy dinner and gave me a thoughtful gift, nothing big, just a mug with a picture of my favorite anime character. We kissed once but I didn't feel a spark. Or anything at all. He told me it was amazing and that he felt all the butterflies and everything, just super excited about it. I internally cringed because I couldn't reciprocate. Also I just kept feeling he was a bit too excited about me. I don't know, we'd only seen each other 3 times. So last night he texted me saying he really liked me. Like all of his texts, it was intense. Super enthusiastic, telling me about how beautiful and special I am. I decided to be honest and told him I just didn't feel the same about him, and that I didn't want to waste his time. He replied with a 7-minute voice message telling me he is in love with me. That he wants to explore a future with me. Bear in mind, this is a divorced man in his 40s. I am actually looking for a relationship. I'd really like to fall in love and have someone be my forever person. Just have a nice life together. But still, I would never dream to tell a man I've only been on 3 dates with and only kissed once that I'm in love with him. My friends tell me that I'm just not used to being treated with care and respect and that's why I'm running away from him, but to me this feels a bit like love bombing. But what if I'm wrong? This guy has a great career, a very unique and charming personality, and we click in many ways. Am I making a big mistake? What if attraction grows over time? I still can't get over him saying that he's in love with me so soon. Your friends are whack. There is a happy medium between a guy treating you like shit and confessing his love in a cringe and over-the-top manner after spending, what? 0.20 hours together. This really is a massive red flag. That's love bombing or really poor judgment. No. Don't listen to your friends. This guy might possibly have some mental instability if he is telling you he loves you after a week. Run fast. It's either there or it's not. Too bad if not. Don't settle for less than you want. 26M. Need to apologize profusely to my 8.5-month pregnant wife, 26F. Guys, I screwed up. So last night my wife went into false labor. Obviously we didn't know it at the time, so we got ready and then grabbed our daughter and headed to the hospital for a labor check. At this point it's around 12:45 in the a.m. Before we had left, my wife asked if we should call a close-by family member to come watch our daughter. I told her that I would just care for our daughter for a bit in case it wasn't labor, and once the doctor confirmed or dismissed labor we would either have someone come pick her up or just head home. Well, we didn't know that a labor check takes about an hour and a half, as they want to watch for a while. At about the half-hour mark my daughter started getting really fussy and upset, which is understandable because she is 2 and it is now sometime between 1 and 2 in the morning. At this point we were also pretty sure that it wasn't labor, but the doctor still wanted to keep her for an hour and a half or so just in case. I offered to take my daughter home so she could sleep, and then my wife could call us when she was getting ready to be discharged and we would head over. We live about 5-6 minutes from the hospital. My daughter and I get home and she wants me to sing to her as she falls asleep, which is normal for her. I then fell asleep on the floor while singing to my daughter. The next thing I know I'm waking up on the floor and it's almost 4:30. In a panic I check my phone and have 7 missed calls and a text saying that she had eventually just called the close relative and they had come and gotten her and brought her home. My phone was not on silent, it was on full volume, meaning both my daughter and I slept through all 7 calls. I then went and got in bed with my wife and apologized many times last night as well as a few times this morning. She insists that she is not angry and honestly doesn't seem angry at all, but I still feel really bad about it. What can I do to make it up to her? My go-to would normally be chocolates and flowers, but she is having some really bad seasonal allergies right now and a sore throat because of them, so both of those things would just make her feel physically worse. I feel really bad about it and want to do something nice for her. Any suggestions? Too long did not read. I accidentally abandoned my 8.5-month pregnant wife at the hospital and need to make up for it, even though she insists she is not upset about it at all. Edit. I have also apologized several times to the family member for making a situation where they had to get up at 3 a.m. to rescue my wife from my inability to wake up. I'm sure she understands that you were exhausted, too. I'm also sure that it did bother her, but anger might not be the right word for what she's feeling. I can't really speculate too much on that, though. This is one of those things that likely just needs time. Maybe instead of chocolates and flowers, you could cook for her? Or go pick up her favorite dinner? Breakfast in bed? Foot rub? There's lots of little gestures you could do to remind her of your love for her. Since she is heavily pregnant, a nice weekend where you look after daughter and she gets to rest before baby would be a nice way to make it up to her. This was an honest mistake. Get some proper rest and just be your best self. I understand that you feel terrible because your wife is dealing with much worse, but sometimes our body just shuts down from stress and exhaustion. It happens, we've all been there. She's not mad, but maybe she needs some extra reassurance, which you can do by small acts of service. Bypass the apologies and just do small things for her by streamlining her day. Sorry that happened and I wish your family all the best. You didn't listen to her. You ignored what she was saying and thought you knew better. Not a good start. Tell her you're sorry and you resolve to listen to her more. This is going to happen 100 times in the first week after baby is born. Get ready to acquiesce, my friend.